This is Channel 5 News in the headlines. Over $7 million in contracts signed for road rehabilitation in Layu and Loda. Ectel's board to take recommendations on roaming charges and number portability to telecoms ministers, and NCCU concerned about an increase in non-performing loans as its assets exceed the $500 million mark. I am Idona Baptist. I'll be back with the details. First up, a $5.8 million contract signed on Monday afternoon for highway rehabilitation and river defense works west of the Hillsborough Bridge. More in this report. This project holds special significance for residents of Layu, St. Joseph, and Hillsborough. The construction is expected to complement works already taking place on the York Valley Bridge and upcoming works east of the Hillsborough Bridge.
This major highway serves not just the residents of the St. Joseph constituency, but it also connects the north of the island to the south of the island. And the residents of Layu in particular, who are closest to that area, they have been asking me as a member of parliament how soon work will commence on that area to restore the works. And I'm very pleased this afternoon that the actual contract signing is taking place today for the commencement of work. We were able to do a bypass temporarily, and again, with the assistance of the Ministry of Public Works, we were able to do some additional works on the bypass to sustain it during that period of time. But this government is about building back better, and I'm sure that the designs for that particular portion of road will in fact be much better than what was previously designed.
The parliamentary representative for the Roseau Valley was also present to witness the signing of a $1.65 million contract for rehabilitation and construction of the Providence Road at Loda. More on this in our next newscast. More top stories. Roaming charges and local number portability are being looked at by the Ectel board as matters requiring the action of telephone service providers. Dominica's director on the board of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, Ectel, Julius Timothy, says discussions are being held with phone companies on these recommendations.
We think there's no reason why there should be roaming charges between the OECS. And take, for instance, Digicel. If you make a local call from you to me with Digicel, it goes through the system in St. Lucia and comes back to me, So there is no additional cost to Digicel if you were making a call to somebody in St. Lucia. With cables, if you have a fault, right. I think it's either St. Lucia or Barbados. So there is no reason why you should have a cost to a call to Barbados. It should be as if it were a Dominica call. Those are the things, we are pointing out to them.
Timothy says it would make more economic sense for phone service providers to strike off roaming charges.
And also, they are losing a lot of business because a lot of people, for instance, if they go to Barbados, St. Lucia, they either switch off their phones or they don't accept long-distance calls.
On the issue of number portability, Timothy says businesses that want to transfer from one phone provider to another should be able to keep their telephone numbers that were assigned to them with the first company.
Number portability basically is if you have a phone from Digicel, a number, and you're moving from Digicel, say, to Flow, you would like to use your same number. if, for instance, ACS, my company, we've had our numbers for years and years and years, and it is with flow. If we want to change service provider, I mean, we would want to continue the same numbers. Otherwise, people will not know how to get in touch. Whereas if number portability would move to Digicel and use the same numbers.
The board will take its recommendations to the Council of Telecommunications Ministers in the respective ECTEL member countries for a final decision. The 79th meeting of the ECTEL Board of Directors takes place on Wednesday in St. Vincent. On the tourism scene, a certified wedding and event planner says service providers will have to adopt new trends if they are to capitalize on the growing destination wedding and honeymoon market. This follows a 3-day seminar targeting romance service providers, which wrapped up on Friday. Chief Executive Officer of Dreamy Weddings and Tours St. Lucian, Natalie John, conducted the sessions. She says since her assessment here in 2010, there's been a slight improvement in the offerings of the local romance market.
It has probably been a little slower, but it has improved. I've seen persons who were there in 2010 and their product has improved. They've actually had the experience in terms of having a destination bride or two. As I've said to the audience, it's not just government, but you too have to be able to push yourself. You have to go out there, get the certification, get the knowledge. You've got to do your research so you keep up with the trends as well. So for example, 2017, what the brides are looking for in terms of, say, florals, they're looking for more greenery, the colors that are there, more neutral colors, metallic colors, they're also going through. So unlike the local bride, who's more or less going with what's favorite to her, the international bride is using what's the trends out there.
John says romance service providers should target mainly those between the ages of 18 to 34, called millennials.
Because the marrying age right now is about 27. So how are they looking at those persons who come in to the destinations like Dominica? So we looked at the key social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and so forth.
When you say the marrying age is 27, you mean it's the most common age at which
it is? Yes, it's the okay. Yes.
So as it relates to what the trend has shown, is it that people are getting married at a younger age?
No, it's now they're actually getting married at an older age. So before it used to be 23 was the average age. Now you have the grouping called millennials, and they are changing the world drastically. And so they now wanting to get married later. They want to do things like get their career started. They already have families. So you have nearly 1 in every 5 already have a family. They've traveled previously as well. So we looked at that demographic and trying to understand that, because for you to target them, you need to know what it is that they're looking for, and then you could suit your product accordingly.
A threat of court injunction to stop further work on concreting the Jacks Walk Trail. A group of concerned citizens represented by attorneys Wayne Nordy and Bernadette Lambert are on a campaign to have the Ministry of Tourism project cease. Attorney Nordy told Channel 5 News they are worried that after the project, the historical importance of Jacks Walk would be lost.
Exercise enthusiasts also would jog up or walk up the trail daily, and we know what walking or jogging on concrete can do to the knees. That's another concern of ours. We are not against the government or the Ministry of Tourism enhancing the Jacks Walk. We're not. But it's the method in which they're doing it. Putting concrete on the trail, it's an eyesore. And they could have done that naturally with the logs, come back with soil and hold them and make it beautiful naturally. That's what the trail is. It's hurting myself and the group of people that are very much concerned. And I think that people should not just have this lukewarm attitude about it and say, okay, they're putting steps and nobody cares. No, It goes back to 1780, and let's try to save Jack's Walk.
Norde says the tourism minister was made aware of the concern in a video recorded on behalf of the concerned individuals. To date, according to Norde, the minister has not acknowledged receipt of the video.
We've tried to reach to the Minister of Tourism because myself and the group, we put together a very short video and we sent it to the minister. I sent it personally myself. I know that he has received it. I wouldn't say that he acknowledged receipt, but I know that he saw it. He saw the video. The video is in circulation. It's on Facebook. We have a lot of persons circulating it, and I know that it reached the correct places, but we have absolutely no feedback. We have absolutely no feedback.
Norde says his colleague attorney Bernadette Lambert also had a meeting with the project's manager on Friday to raise the concern.
I think that he also saw the video and he knows of our concern. He tried to reach to the minister, and that was not very productive.
Of course, so when we have an injunction, it means to stop the project. What sort of consequence do you think that will have going forward?
A positive one, in that we want them to stop laying the concrete. What they've done so far, we won't ask that it be disturbed. But attack the enhancement in a way natural. Every day you meet different persons on the trail, and everybody has the same opinion. Why concrete steps up the trail? Has there been any accidents in Jack's Walk before? I don't know. I've never heard of any accident in Jack's Walk. If I fall in Jack's Walk now, I would fall on dirt, on leaves. If I fall on a concrete step going up Jack's Walk, you know what happened to me? If I fall on the edge of a step, if it rains, the leaves on it, it becomes slippery. Who's going to maintain it? They're going to maintain it by power washing it every so often? No.
Channel 5 News will continue trying to get a comment from the tourism minister on the matter. Coming up, one credit union rewards outstanding performance as it celebrates 60 years of service. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. The NCCU has continued on its growth path, achieving another milestone. Here's more in this report.
The Society's total assets exceeded $500 million, over $518 million for the financial year ending December 1, 2016. The increase in assets of $47 million represents 10% growth when compared to the December 2015 figure of $471 million. Liabilities have also grown to $455 million from $412 million, a 10.3% increase. That's $42 million over the financial year 2015. The Treasurer's report indicates that in spite of the increase in membership, 2016 was a challenging year because of high levels of liquidity, increasing requests by members for deferment of loan installments, and increasing non-performing loans. Now, that's an important issue for the NCCU as the loans portfolio is its main source of revenue.
Commencing in 2018, for instance, greater provision will have to be made for loans that are not functioning. This more stringent application, given the level of delinquency, could unduly affect our surplus, thereby seriously eroding our ability to serve our members and to provide them with a very good rate of dividends on your investment in our society. We need to reduce on the level of delinquency. I therefore appeal to our members to contact the credit union and seek advice at the onset of any difficulty that you may encounter.
There was, however, a substantial increase in the growth of the loan portfolio over the previous year of $21 million or 6%. Savings and deposits also grew by $40 million. The Society recorded growth in mortgage, vehicle, land, business and other loans except personal loans, where there was a drop from $97 million in 2015 to $90 million in 2016. Julian Morris, Channel 5 News.
In other news, a 60-year-old credit union has recognized the sterling contribution of its members towards its outstanding performance as a financial institution. The St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union, serving the communities of Girondel and Egliston, hosted its 60th anniversary awards ceremony over the weekend.
Our credit union, though small, we can boast that we are one of the best run on the island. We have done very, very, very well for ourselves. Many communities much larger than us have not been able to sustain a credit union, right? We, very small in Egliston and Girondel, maybe about less than 1,000 people, we have had a credit union in our community, one of the first in the southern part of the island to be established. And we have run it for many, many years. We can boast because we are one of the financial institutions in Dominica where we have not suffered what we call fraud on a high degree at all.
Alexander commended the consistent saving pattern of the Girondel and Egliston communities, saying because of this, the credit union has been able to fund several community projects as well as loan money to larger credit unions.
We have financed many projects in the community: housing, land, small business, and we have done it from our own funds. We didn't have to go outside and borrow money to borrow to our members. We did it from our own collective funds. So that is a plus for us. For that matter, I mean, we were very generous in that we, though small, we were able to give loans to larger credit unions than us in the past because they fell short of cash. And we had enough of it, we could give them loans and that sort of thing. So hats off to us in this community as we continue, and we hope that we can continue in this light.
18 credit union members were awarded for their contribution to the fields of education, health, horticulture, culture, agriculture, entrepreneurship, community involvement, and volunteerism. An ambitious project by government to digitalize the civil and titles records at the registry is said to be making good progress. The registry is currently focusing on digitalizing the titles registry. Government has engaged a team of 5 to undertake what is likely to be a 5-year project.
Because we have some 60-odd thousand titles, certificates of title. That keeps mounting as land is being divided and subdivided, so more titles are issued. And what about supporting documents? And you have the plans to be scanned. Then you have the various memorandums to be signed. You have encumbrances to be, not signed, to be scanned and put into the system. Caveats, withdrawal of caveats, mortgages, withdrawal of mortgages. All these documents amount to hundreds of thousands of documents which support various titles, certificates of title. All that got to be scanned into the system. That takes years.
On the other hand, government previously invested $1.8 million in the digitalization of records at the civil registry. The civil registry, which handles birth, death, and marriage certificates, have largely been digitized, but this remains an ongoing project that continues on a daily basis.
People file documents to amend the birth records, to amend the marriage records. Statutory declarations are done almost on a daily basis here. In fact, somebody came to me early on this morning saying they didn't realize at the age of 60-something, almost 70, they carried their mother's name, surname rather. Only now they're discovering it because they use their baptismal certificate all over the years, which reflects their father's name to obtain their passport. So they just kept renewing it on the baptismal certificate and looking at the surname, father's surname on the passport. Now they're being asked to go get a birth certificate. They're saying their mother's surname is there, but not their father's name. So there are all sorts of things. An amendment to the records take place on a continuing basis. I do a lot of marriages, some 80 last year, another example, and people, when they look at the marriage certificate, I would say, well, look at it before we sign the register. They say, everything is in order. Everything is fine, Mr. Walsh. After they've signed the record, they discover, oh, it's missing an I, or it's missing the excitement of the wedding. They can't see the error there. And amendments got to be made to the record subsequently based on evidence put before you. So these documents have been mounting over the years.
A significant amount of resources will have to be pumped into the country's school-aged population in order to have them function effectively and as well-adjusted adults in the future.
That's the word from Nurse Joan Henry, coordinator of the I Can See Clearly program. The program, a collaborative effort between the governments of Dominica and Cuba, targeting all school children, began in December last year with screening done by local healthcare professionals. Up until the end of May, a total of 9,379 children were screened at the first level. Those who failed first level screening advanced to second level screening, being conducted by a team of ophthalmologists from Cuba, which arrived here in April. Of the 1,968 who received second-level screening, 337 have been prescribed glasses, while 40 have been referred to local ophthalmologist Dr. Hazel Shillingford-Ricketts for further consultation, and 2 have been referred for surgery. Program coordinator Nurse Joan Henry says during the screenings, the ministry has noticed some interesting trends regarding eye health among the school-age children.
Sometimes parents may be telling children that they are stupid and they cannot learn, not recognizing that the children cannot see. Some of the children, as young as they are, even at the age of 9, has a vision of 20/200, and that means it's a lot of problem for them to see, and they cannot see properly. We have some children who cannot see anything in one eye and have very little vision in the other eye. So this program we're really discovering a lot of things, and it's a valuable program because we are assessing our future generation. And what we are discovering, it says to us, we're going to need a lot of resources to allow them to be at the level they need to be, to function effectively, to replace us, if already at these ages their vision is at this.
Nurse Henry also had some words of advice for parents to help protect the health of their children's eyes.
We need to allow the children to eat properly, to eat their yellow vegetables, to drink their yellow juices, and to more natural. We need to feed our children properly. And as parents, we also need to take responsibility. And if a child remarks that they are not seeing properly, it is something that we should work on, because truly they may have a vision problem. And it's not because they are dumb, but it's because they might not be able to see properly. There are children who had to have surgery. There are children who already have very high eye pressure, and so they have to be studied and followed up for glaucoma. Some of them had to be treated for glaucoma. So our children have conditions that we have to be very vigilant about. And this, again, I must say the program is a very good program.
The participating opticians in this program are Optical Services Limited, Island Vision Inc., and Optifarm Eye Services. The first pair of prescribed glasses is paid for in full by the government of Dominica. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
That's news. Sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
Cricket takes the first knock, where West Indies found renewed vigor in the second one-day international against Afghanistan to level the series 1-all with a 4-wicket win on Sunday. Batting first, the visiting side posted 135 all-out. Gulbuddin Niab was the highest run scorer for Afghanistan in that match with 51. Alzari Joseph got 2 for 15, Shannon Gabriel 2 for 25, Ashley Nurse 2 for 33, and Jason Holder 2 for 38. Set 136 to win, West Indies finished on 138 for 6 with 64 balls to spare. Shai Hope contributed 48 not out and Evan Lewis 33. In the previous ODI, Afghanistan won by 63 runs. The third ODI is scheduled for Wednesday at the Darren Sammy National Cricket Stadium at 2:30 p.m. Meantime, West Indies skipper Jason Holder says although there was room for improvement, the game went well.
Good to get over the line, still a few areas that we could improve on. I just want to say credit to the bowlers, I thought we did an outstanding job to restrict Afghanistan to 135. I can't ask for much more from the bowlers. I think we did an outstanding job, not only in this game but the last game as well. I just think we just need to be a little bit more selective in our stroke play, obviously show a little bit more intent, when we go to bat. We've seen them before, obviously, but we've got to find better ways, playing them. I don't think they're unplayable. They're, to me, two decent spinners, who we can, pick off easily. Just got to find our tactics and, tighten up our game plans towards them. I think we just need to be a little bit more positive towards them and, show some intent.
On the basketball scene, there were wins for Aldrin Pizza Hoyas, Intellico Security Raiders, Pishley Sports Club Falcons, Dr. Mac Prowlers, Detroit Blazers, and All-Stars in recent games for the 2017 Flow DABA League. In the under-17s, Aldrin Pizza Hoyas defeated 767 Young Ballers 71-52. Felix Lawrence was the top scorer for Hoyas with 40. In a losing effort, Delton Eugene posted 14 points for 767 Ballers, with Dante Peters and Audrell Debon scoring 12 and 11 respectively. In the Premier Division, Raiders narrowly escaped with victory, scoring 56 against Flow X-Men's 49. Lennon Paul added 17 points for Raiders and Teddy Revere 10 points. Gavin Joseph came in with 17 points for X-Men. Back to Division 1 results, where PSC Falcons beat Interschools 59-55. Top scorer for Falcons was Yurlon Regis with 19 points. Interschools' JV Bellot netted 17 points and Joshua Henderson 15. Next up, we had defending champions Dr. Mac Prowlers defeating Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers 64-39 in the Premier Division. Contributions from Julian Isles 16, Bert Boland 12, and Craig St. Rose 11 helped seal victory for Prowlers. Thunderers Shaka Dangleben came in with 14 points and Junior Xavier 11. Finally, 767 Sports Club went down to All-Stars 64-46 in the Division 1, and the Detroit Blazers won 100-79 against Police Sports Club in the Premier Division. Moving on to football, Dive Dominica Harlem United continued to top the points table with 21 points as action continued in the Dominica Football Association's Domlec Women's League on the weekend.
They crushed Bomber Starlights 6-0 on Saturday at the Benjamin Park. Tabby Clockett registered a hat-trick with Alija Tit, Lizanne Roach and Kimaro Sabroach scoring one each. Tabby Clockett was named the player of the match, while the match between Maosuka Strikettes and West Coast Jaguars at the Stock Farm Complex was called off due to clash of uniform colors. Meantime, in the featured match of the weekend, New Generation Sports Club edged out defending champions New India Goodwill Runners 1-0 at the Stock Farm Complex on Sunday. Ezra Elwin scored that all-important goal for New Generation, keeping them in contention for the championship on 19 points. Ezra Elwin was voted player of the match.
Next up, President of Dominica Cycling Association says although Sunday's race was not what he anticipated, he was proud of Bram Sanderson's performance. The local governing body on the sport put on the second warm-up race on Sunday from Portersville to Cabritz and back ahead of the July 2 OECS Cycling Championships here.
It was an exciting race. I must give kudos to Mr. Bram Sanderson, who really handled the course and the route, effectively. Bram, was leading the rest of the lot by almost, from the last person's point of view, almost 3 hours, 4 hours, and from the second place, almost by about a half an hour to almost 45 minutes. So it was an excellent race. The participants turned out, although we were expecting more of the cyclists to turn out, but it was an exciting race. It was an interesting race.
He said the third warm-up race is carded for June 25 and promises to be greater than the last as we get closer to the OECS Cycling Champs here.
We have another upcoming race, which is the 25th. Again, we're asking all the national players and the cyclists to be prepared and get ready for that event, the 25th. We're hoping to have a little bit more, get more persons on board again.
Bram Sanderson placed first, followed by Chester Later and Benjamin Daniel, also known as Coco, in the second warm-up race. Sports continues with this item where plans are in the pipeline to upgrade the Geneva playing field to accommodate regional and international games soon. This according to Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt at a recent contract signing for the design of a new multi-sports complex here.
In this year's budget, I can tell you some other things happening in this budget. You will see a significant sum of money allocated for the Geneva playing field to upgrade it to a level that can be used for hosting of proper international games. With the leveling of the playing field and drainage systems and improvement to the washrooms and the players' pavilion.
He says upgrades to the Massac Court are also on the cards for completion.
We have also signed the contract, and with the contractor has ordered the material the fixtures for the covering of the Masak basketball court. That was in this year, in the 2016-2017 budget, and we have signed a contract, and we're now waiting for the shipment of these fixtures so that the Masak basketball court can be properly covered with improvements to the washrooms and the amenities and the facilities, so that when we have rain, which is a normal occurrence in Dominica, we can have basketball games.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Be sure to join us next time.
Coming up, the weather report.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rockwell. Let's go straight into some early infrared satellite imagery, which showed mainly shallow clouds across the Lesser Antilles and an area of multi-layered clouds to the north of the islands, and that is associated with a trough system. We move on now to some earlier visible satellite imagery taken from this afternoon, and what it showed is mostly cloudy conditions across Dominica, and some earlier radar imagery also of this afternoon indicates pockets of shower activity across the Eastern Caribbean. The weather tonight is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with some scattered showers, and of course breezy conditions are expected. Now, similar conditions will persist into tomorrow, with maximum temperatures expecting to peak up to 32 degrees Celsius. Let's move on now to the marine forecast. Well, moderate sea conditions are expected with waves picking up to 7 feet. Let's move on now to the 3D forecast. Well, tomorrow, Tuesday, tropical wave will be approaching the area, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected, and as I said, breezy conditions as well. On Wednesday and Thursday, the tropical wave will be affecting us. Therefore, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers expected and possible thunderstorms on Wednesday, and on Thursday, mostly cloudy skies expected as well, but with just scattered showers anticipated. The Caribbean forecast for tomorrow: the northern portion of the islands can expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers, whereas the southern portion of the islands can expect mostly cloudy skies with some thunderstorm activity, and that is as a result of the tropical wave which will be affecting them. Let's move on now to the international city forecast. Well, like the southern portion of Lesser Antilles, mostly cloudy skies and thunderstorm activity expected for Caracas. Partly cloudy skies expected across New York, London, and Beijing, and mostly cloudy skies expected across Miami tomorrow. Well, the sun will rise tomorrow at 5:34 a.m. and will set at 6:37 p.m. Please remember, we are in hurricane season. Keep up to date with your weather information. You could always log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Thank you for viewing.
To end the news, the headlines again. Over $7 million in contracts signed for road rehabilitation in Layu and Loda. ECTEL's board to take recommendations on roaming charges and number portability to telecoms ministers, and NCCU concerned about an increase in non-performing loans as its assets exceed the $500 million mark. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Idona Jean Baptiste, and to all our viewers, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.